Piers, let's turn to football. We're 4 days away from the opening of the World Cup. David Baddiel told us that he's staying home. That
Mm.
his version of football is staying home. Gary Lineker said he wouldn't receive Qatari money. He doesn't like the feel of it. I think the word Baddiel used was reprehensible. Would you go to
Mm.
Qatar? You excited about the games?
I'm going to Qatar. I'm doing some punditry for Fox for the America England group stage because my show airs in America and England, so why wouldn't I? And also, I've got to say, I find a lot of this sports washing debate uh, laced with rank hypocrisy. I mean, in the end, I read a column last week in which I went through all the problems that all the countries in the last 32 have. And I mean, for example, eight of the countries in the last 32, that's a quarter of the countries in the World Cup finals, outlaw homosexuality. You know, one in four countries. So if you're going to use that as the stick to beat Qatar with, you have to then beat the other seven countries. You don't have a World Cup. And if you don't have it in Qatar, which is the first Middle Eastern country to have it, where do you have the World Cup? Do you go to Africa, where many countries it's illegal to be homosexual? Do you go there? So that rules out that continent. Do you go to America, which has rather draconian laws about abortion, which play very badly, for example, in the UK? In other words, once you start putting your moral halo on,
Right.
where does it stop? And who is morally clean enough to actually host a World Cup?
So
Are we? Are we the country that illegally invaded Iraq? Which then started a 20-year reign of terror by ISIS? Are we
yeah.
morally clean enough to host a
Okay.
World Cup? I mean,
So
I
so
just think it's fraught with hypocrisy.
a lot of whataboutery there. Is that basically a
It's not
big?
what about three, it's facts.
Well, it's a two fingers up to members of the LGBT community and presumably to the thousands of migrant labourers that have died in the making of Qatar in the last 10 years or so. I mean,
Mm.
is that a kind of like Piers Morgan doesn't really care about
Would
gay
you, do you
rights?
ever go to the Would you ever go to the Middle East?
I haven't been for a while.
Would you go to the Middle East?
I would.
Right. End of debate.
Why is that the end of the debate?
Well, if you don't agree with what they do, don't go there.
Well, I don't think that's the same thing, is it? I mean, we're looking
It's
at
absolutely the same thing. This is what I mean about the hypocrisy. It's completely the same thing.